Hiyo. I know. I'm filming 2 episodes in the same day. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to Hide and Seek with Formaldehyde, or Chevy, or CJ, whatever you want to call me, whatever you know me as. And today we're talking about something that has been living rent-free in my body and mind. High-functioning anxiety, body image, and the emotional hangover of social burnout, especially as queer folks navigating mental health systems that weren't exactly designed with us in mind. So let's grab a drink, make some hot tea, spark it up, and let's get into it. Let's start with high-functioning anxiety. That quiet storm that makes you look like you got your life together on the outside. Productive, reliable, driven, but on the inside you're basically screaming in lowercase. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the US, affecting over 40 million adults. That's about 19.1% of the population every year. But here's the kicker. Queer folks are almost 3 times more likely to experience anxiety compared to our straight counterparts. And when you're high functioning, people don't see the anxiety. They just see you being on it. What they don't see is the hours spent rewriting every single text because you're terrified that it's going to, at least for me, it's going to come across some sort of way and it's going to make you sound awful and like a terrible human being. Or the way that your heart races after you hear, "Hey, can we talk later?" Even if it's in the most positive tone. The internal panic when your phone rings because I apparently cannot answer a phone call. That sounds so silly, like I'm an adult and I can't answer a phone call. The obsessive need to prove your worth again and again and again. And I feel like I definitely feel like I go through this a lot in all of my relationships, in overstretching myself to do a lot of things, to kind of push myself to prove my worth to everyone, when in actuality I'm worthy just existing. But of course, my brain doesn't think that. And for queer people, it's not just about perfectionism, it's survival. I know that was a lot of my childhood. We've learned to overachieve as a form of safety, to be likable, acceptable, good gays, palatable queers. But the mask, it's heavy. Now let's talk bodies. Being queer often means being hyper aware of how we show up in every space. In my family, my friends, my job, hell, even going out and performing drag has been intense. I don't like people seeing me in a binder, or I don't like people seeing me not taped at the bar. It's a thing for me, and that's okay. You know? What we wear, how we walk, how we speak, how we're read, and body image is fucking complicated. A 2020 study from the National Eating Disorders Association found that LGBTQ+ people are significantly more likely to develop eating disorders and experience body dissatisfaction, especially trans and non-binary folk. For example, over 50% of LGBTQ youth reported struggling with body image, and 70% of trans teens reported wanting to change their body because of gender dysphoria and societal pressure. Even within queer spaces, there's pressure. Mask for mask culture, fat phobia, racialized beauty standards, top surgery versus binding, the ideal gay body, the ideal femme body, they're all just new cages dressed in rainbow. For me, my anxiety fixates on my body. Every pound gained or lost becomes a metaphor for control. And the queer spaces I go to for comfort, sometimes they reinforce the same toxic messages and the straight world taught us, just with glitter on top. I personally struggle a lot with feeling valid as a man. God, I'm getting emotional. Excuse me. But I do struggle a lot with feeling valid as a man and being seen as a man, being 5'3", very small. I mean, I've done what I can. I've been on testosterone for a while. I grow hair. I look a lot. I literally just look like my sister's younger brother. Just her, but a man. But it just can be frustrating sometimes, especially in romantic relationships for me, specifically with cis gay men. I feel very complicated in those relationships, not understanding how my anatomy is my anatomy. And let me stop rambling. Now let's talk about burnout. Not the I've had a long week kind, the kind where brushing your teeth feels like a TED Talk, the kind that hits after Pride Month or after 3 social events in one weekend. Because let's be real, community is lifeline, but it can also be overwhelming. I am currently at a point where I struggle between reaching out and communicating or staying in my house and isolating. And that's why I picked this up to try to bridge that gap and try to maybe help push myself out there a bit more. But especially if you are the organizer, the caretaker, the emotional translator, or just the one holding space all the time for your friends, your family, excusing them for all of the things that just get so annoying for excusing them for, because why can they just be a decent human being? As queer people, we're often doing emotional labor just to exist by correcting pronouns, educating therapists, explaining our relationships, being the representation. Which, don't get me wrong, I love nothing less than to be representation for my niece/nibbling. I love being that representation in my family. But it tends to be exhausting, and I know that my sister, who is a lesbian, more mask-presenting woman, would agree. It's exhausting for us to be that representation in our family, which is a hard spot, which is why I get emotional. According to the Trevor Project's 2023 survey, 60% of LGBTQ plus youth couldn't access mental health care even when they wanted it, citing cost, lack of queer affirming providers, and fear of being misunderstood. I have been on a hunt to find a therapist that I click with again. And honestly, I am so glad that I think I finally got back in with one that I did. Even in therapy, we sometimes shrink ourselves often so we're not too queer or too intense or too much. Even now, I feel like I kind of find myself dropping my voice and avoiding using all of the hand gestures that me and my sister use every time that we talk. because it's too much. So, how do we cope? Honestly, some days I don't have an answer, but a few things that have been helping me: finding therapists who are explicitly queer affirming and not just okay with it. Now, I know by chance we have the amazing, like, once in a lifetime opportunities where we find one at a Christian place. And I'm so happy that we find that, because that religion shouldn't stop loving one another. But it can be hard to find. It can be really hard to find. One that I'm still struggling with is learning to say no without guilt. I don't know how to say no. It's a struggle of mine. I feel like I'm consistently going to struggle with it. I'm doing my best to speak softer to myself, like I would talk to a friend. It's difficult, but we'll get there. Finding community in my support system and finding space in my community, like the gardening club that I'm starting to facilitate with Lambda Society. I am so excited to get to meet so many other allies and queer people and really, really talk about things that are going on and get to see people and teach people how to thrive in this dooming environment that we have going on. If you're queer, anxious, and trying, you are not alone. I see you, and I am you. And if nobody has told you today, you don't have to earn your rest. Your body is not a project. And being soft in a hard world is a damn superpower. Thank you for being here with me. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, or just give yourself a moment of stillness today. You deserve it. I am Formaldehyde, Chevy, CJ, and this has been Hide and Seek. Catch you in the next episode. Until then, be gentle with yourself.